Thank you very much. So I get asked a lot about what is engagement, and I've never heard it described so crisply and purposefully than at the Inspiring Workplaces Awards event, where one of the participants described it as the Sunday night test, and I thought that was fantastic. So the Sunday night test is, how do you feel on Sunday night? Do you feel optimistic about the week ahead, or do you feel dread of Monday morning? And I would say that if you're in that optimistic camp or some positive language that sits around that, I would say you're probably working in an organization that's got some pretty good culture and a pretty good levels of engagement. On the other side, the flip side, if you're feeling dread on a Sunday night, I would suggest that there's something not quite right with the culture and engagement in your organization. So put simply, what we're all about in my team at Richard Crookes Constructions, or RCC, if I want to put it really, really short, sharp, it's about making Mondays suck just a little bit less. And people go, well, what's in that magic black box? It's an art, it's a science, and we don't know what to do. The challenge is that you do, because I was quite amazed, mind blown, in fact, at how everyone adapted to COVID. We became obsessed with people's engagement. We became obsessed with people's mindset, and we really cared about each other, and we deliberately took time out of our days to check in with each other to make sure we're okay. Yet when everyone's back in the office, all of that stops, and I don't understand why. But that said, it certainly hasn't stopped at Richard Crookes Constructions, and I'd like to tell you our story. So our story, Richard Crookes Constructions is a 100% owned business. It's family owned. This is our 50th year of operation. We have 2 billion in turnover approximately. We care deeply about the people that work for us and the people that work with us, and creating a positive experience is essential. In fact, 60% of our clients are repeat clients because of the care we put into the environment in which we build and also which we work. We have delivered 1,350 projects. We move 45% of our people around internally every year as we mobilise and demobilise projects, and I'll say more about that shortly. We have 40 projects running at any given time. 850 people on our payroll, but if you count the number of people on our sites each day, it's close to 6,000. 6,000 people we care for, 6,000 people we care about, and 6,000 people we're responsible for. We must be doing something right because 32% of our workforce have been with us more than 10 years. Our engagement scores are 90%. We have quite a large cadet pool of about 55 or more people, and we care about the communities in which we work, and we donate time and money every year. So what is it at RCC that I think stands us apart? And our approach to driving culture and driving engagement is really about making work more human. We are, after all, human beings, not human doings. And the difference between a human being and a human doing is there are brains and there are feelings involved with human beings. Should you treat your people simply as human doings, I would suggest you get 50% or less from those people, just because you're not taking into consideration what they think and how they feel. Now, you might be thinking, I'm a bit of a technophobe and I'm not up to pace with what's happening in the organisation and what's happening in the world globally from a technology point of view, but quite the opposite. I love AI. I use it every day. I heard another statement the other week that said, let the technology do the repeatable so the humans can do the remarkable. And I love that, and that certainly resonated with me. The technology can't help you to connect. Connection and belonging matters. Connection is a human need. Technology can't help you to connect, but it will inhibit the connection if you use it too much or in the absence of any kind of connection. It will, however, make you more efficient. And the choice I would challenge you all to make is to take the time that you save because of the technology you've used and cause connection. Because after all, engagement is not something you get from people. It's something you unlock in them. At Richard Crookes, it's not about just making people feel good, although that's a really nice, helpful byproduct. This is about creating achievement and achieving business results. Culture is the container in which we work, making sure the container that all of our people are in is solid, robust, and exactly the shape and size that we want. And then we add the special sauce. The special sauce is a whole bottle of leadership. The better the leadership quality, the better the sauce. We have a sprinkle of development, a smattering of careers, and a garnish of recognition. And I'm going to now talk about how we drive culture with our special sauce to achieve some great results. But let's start with culture. Why is it important? I've talked about it being the container that everything sits in, and that is true. Strategy of an organisation sets the direction. Culture determines the speed in which you travel, and engagement is the fuel that goes into the vehicle. Culture is important. So if strategy is the direction, culture is the speed, and engagement is the fuel, culture will dictate whether strategy is achieved or not achieved, and it needs to be carefully crafted. Culture will happen if you like it or not. Think about a family culture, think about a team, a sporting team culture. It just happens. The question, or what's in your hands and your decision to make, is whether you carefully craft it or you let it go and grow organically. Put it this way, if you were planning the most amazing trip around Australia, would you simply say, let's just go? What have I got in what car have I got in the garage? That'll do. No, you wouldn't. You would go, what is the vehicle that I need to travel in? What are the practicalities I need in that vehicle? What is the fuel I need to put in the vehicle? And you would carefully craft your journey based on the vehicle in which you are traveling in, which is, and culture is just the same. Let me tell you about the culture in the construction industry. In fact, to demonstrate how technology favorable I am, I asked ChatGPT, what is the culture in the construction industry? And ChatGPT, or as we fondly know her as in our team, Bridget, I asked Bridget, what is the culture in the construction industry? And this is what she said. She said it's safety driven, it's accountable, it's collegial, and a deep, deep sense of pride. And that, my friends, is an absolute perfect description of why culture in construction and why I love it and why I get out of bed every Monday morning optimistic to come to work and why my Sunday night test is always a positive one. That said, it's not all rainbows and lollipops. Bridget told me that it's overly task focused, it can be very tough, directive, sometimes a little shouty, and very masculine. All of that results in an outcome of construction, the industry of construction being rated highest on the ladder of mental health issues from an industry. The direct result of being directive, being tough, being tasky, and not taking time to connect is having long-term effects from a mental health perspective, and that has got to change. What does it mean in RCC's terms? So about 3 years ago, a decision was made to change the culture. There had been a strong foundation of sense and pride. The growth and pace of the business had outgrown the operating style. Roles and accountability and clarity were not clear. It was predominantly aggressive or defensive, and the way we would communicate would be to tell and sell. I mentioned before that cultures need to be carefully crafted. And so this is what we set out to do. We wanted a culture that was clear and kind, achievement focused, that held people to account, curious and honest conversations happening every day. It was constructive, and rather than tell and sell, it was involve and solve. For the HR geeks on the call, you'll notice the LSI circumplex down the bottom. For those of you who haven't seen the circumplex before, put simply, the more blue you have, the better, the less red you have, and the less green you have, the better. And you'll see there that our culture was very red, which means directive, bossy, power-orientated, and quite competitive. We wanted to change that and make it more constructive, focused on achieving things through others, coaching, being humanistic, being human, being affiliative, and developing ourselves each and every day. We wanted to set the tone for change that existed within the industry. What we boiled it down to is the statement of creating consistently positive experiences was essentially our goal. Every experience we wanted to be consistent, and we wanted it to be positive, regardless of which project you worked on, whether you were one of our people, whether you're our client, whether you're our consultants, whether you're our subcontractors. We wanted every experience to be a positive one. And the people who we wanted to work with, the people we wanted to join the organisation, we wanted impact makers, people with high energy that wanted to make an impact in the business, on the community in which we work. That was only a few words, but it was a lot of words to distill to that, but it got us crystal clear and pointed about what was the culture we wanted to carefully craft. Then we set about thinking about not just what we wanted to build, but how we wanted to build it. How matters just as much as the what. And we wanted to be very, very clear about what made RCC special through our values. Values matter if they mean something. Values don't matter if they are generic words that don't differentiate you between one organisation and the other. So we went and set about refreshing our values as an organisation, and we feel that these epitomise who we are as a business. Our values are that we take pride in our work. We do what we say we will. We value people, and we work safely as a team. Values are important. The way we measure the values is through what we see day to day. The values are measured through the behaviours because they are seen. So the behaviours that we say are important at RCC, if we're demonstrating that we take pride in our work, we seek to learn and grow and be the best versions of ourselves every day. If we do what we say we will, we'll be clear on our role, we'll get the job done, and we'll do it well. If we value people, we'll strive to bring the best out in everybody. And if we work safely as a team, we'll create a fun, safe, caring, and enjoyable environment for all. All of those things can be seen, and all of those things can be measured. What else did we do? For anyone who says that HR people work on the soft skills, I would challenge you to walk a day in our shoes. It is certainly not soft. In addition to all of the transactional HR activities that we took care of, we ran 184 people through a deep dive immersion on culture. We spent time with all 40 projects to talk to them about what is the culture we want to create. We spent time with 600 of our people to tell them what was culture, what were values, what were behaviours, what was expected of them. We spent over 7,500 hours in the last 18 months talking culture. We refreshed our values and behaviours, and we spent so much time talking about it. People knew we were serious when we talk culture. They know we're serious now, and they're deeply interested. But let's not just hear it from me. I'd like to share the perspective of someone else in our organisation.
One of the really exciting things is when you hand over a project and you get to see the impact it's making on the people that will use that facility. So I work in the front end of the business, which means you're working on winning work. And when it gets delivered and handed over, we've had people in our teams that have delivered babies at the hospitals we've done. When you see a whole lot of people move into aged care facilities, that's going to really impact their quality of life. It makes it all worthwhile for sure.
Now to the first secret sauce, leadership. Leadership is the most important source, the basic foundation of our recipe, because leaders hold the relationship with our people. Life in construction is about mobilising and demobilising. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we move 45% of our people around annually as we start projects, as we finish projects, and they move on. Many leaders in standard organisations would join an organisation based on, can I work with this leader? Do I respect them? Is this something that's going to be an ongoing relationship? But life in construction, you're joining a team, you're joining a leader for a period of time. And we need to make sure that the experience that you have, regardless of the person that you're working for, is a good one. Engagement lives and dies in the moments that leaders create. Quite simply, you can't direct people to engage, you have to earn it. And that's where leadership comes in. Like water, if it's clean and clear, it's nourishing and gives you energy. If it's cloudy and murky, it slows you down and gives you a pain. The difference between drinking a nice cool glass of water that hydrates you and gives you energy versus a warm beer that leaves you bloated and feeling slow. Leaders create the flow. They leave an aftertaste, much like a drink. Leaders create trust, they create genuine human connection, and they have the relationship with all of the people in our business. They role model, which means that what they do gets copied. And when I think about some of those negative attributes of culture in the construction industry, of it being shouty and directive and tactical and transactional, it is that way because the leaders before us, the leaders historically, have not been leaders that create great cultures, have created great engagement. They have been a little shouty, they have been directive. That gets copied, that gets role modelled, and that gets replicated. And before you know it, blink your eye and you've got a culture. Again, for the HR geeks, the leadership profile is important to us. We spend a lot of time developing leaders. And so I mentioned before that human synergistics tool has been a pivot point for us. Ideally, we're wanting the profile that sits in the top left-hand corner of that screen, where there's lots of blue, very little red, and very little green. You'll see on the executive team on to the right, you've got what the scores were when we started this journey in 2021. You can see predominantly red, quite aggressive styles with quite a lot of blue, but overshadowed by the aggression that existed and replicated and was mirrored in the construction industry. We have done significant amounts of work over the last 3 to 4 years. We've radically reduced that aggressive behaviour, and we're starting to see some great results. Great results being a $50 million profit turnaround over the last 4 years because of some of the work we've done here, among many other things we've done as a business to transform. The senior leadership was replicated that, quite constructive, but also a little red. And then when you look at the extended leadership team, they are much more constricted. And what we're saying here is that as you get deeper into the organisation, you get less leadership, constructive leadership, which is a bit of a hazard because the majority of our population are not led by the top 5 to 12 people in the organisation. And it can be argued that it could have been a leadership lottery in terms of when you go on a project, do you get a good one or do you get a grumpy one? So we did whole program of work, which I described before, but put simply, we spent 2 years talking to leaders about leading differently. Then we spent 2 years talking about activating leadership on their teams. And now we're continuing that focus with leadership in action. Leadership and the development of the 184 leaders in our business is a not negotiable. Managing Director Jamie Crookes calls it a big bet. It's critical and it's prioritised accordingly. Moments that matter. If I talk to leaders and they say, what is it that I can do? I don't know how to drive engagement. I talk to them about thinking about the moments that matter. And we did a deep dive on each of those moments, and we provided explicit support for leaders on the moments that matter. If a leader doesn't care about the moments that matter to their people will just simply break up with them. Moments that matter, they need to be taken seriously. On joining, this is the employee life cycle, obviously. On joining, have they had a positive experience when they're moving out to culture? Are we talking about culture? Are we measuring culture? Performance, I receive clear feedback. Results and behaviours are equally prioritised, and so on and so forth. Every step of the employee life cycle matters. Then to the next secret sauce, development. The diversity of our business creates countless development opportunities for our people. We've got small projects ranging from $30, $40 million all the way up to $700 million in terms of size of building that we are building. That creates enormous opportunity for people to develop on a small project, cut their teeth, and then as they grow and develop, move to a wider range of projects of size and scale. Development is not an event. It's not a document. It's the activity. An activity that focuses on growth and being better today than you were yesterday is what I mean when I say development. Development is also a basic human need, and actions speak louder than words. We can't ask our people to focus on development if we don't meet them with the same degree of action. We've promoted 140 people in the last 12 months. We've established 55 mentor relationships. We've launched capability frameworks for all of our delivery specializations. We've welcomed more than 250 people into the business. We've had 100 one-on-one conversations with all of our female people on International Women's Day. Action matters. Development is not a training course or a piece of paper. It's action, making sure that you are better today than you were yesterday. We deep dive into what is the capability and understanding what our PMs wanted, what our design people wanted, what our engineers wanted, safety and our site supervisors. And we saw such commonality across many of the specializations that it created a very good forum for a training needs analysis and direction for us as a people and culture team in terms of where to focus our efforts. Careers is the next and second last secret sauce. 32% of our people have been with our business for more than 30 years. We have a high degree of mastery, and that just doesn't happen by accident. We must be doing something right. But it has had an impact on careers because it's a little bit old school. So people are waiting to be tapped on the shoulder for promotion. People are expected to be promoted simply based on time in role, nothing more. And people are fearful of receiving feedback, thinking it's a report card, and I would call it a passport. We have asked people to be more proactive in their careers, to certainly take responsibility of swimming in order that they don't sink, stall, or soar. These are the things that we talk to the organisation about from a careers perspective. Collect experiences, not job titles. Collect all of the things that are important, that are going to set you up for success. Careers are a journey, not a destination. Performance is a passport to progression. You cannot have a conversation about progression if your performance isn't where it needs to be. So the most important thing is to ensure that your performance is going very well in order to get that passport to progression. Plan it, don't just expect it. Think about what's important to you, not just the skills, the passions, but also think about your behaviours, your natural talent, build your network, embrace every opportunity and just say yes. Some of the best career moves I've made are moves that I didn't necessarily want to make, but I just said yes. Own it and drive it. If not you, who? Also challenging the simplistic classifications and norms from an HR perspective around career. One size does not fit all. There are different needs for different people. There are different challenges that different people have and different drivers at each stage in their career. On the left-hand side, you're driven to succeed, you're driven to be promoted. On the right-hand side, you're looking for work-life balance and interesting opportunities. Too often I see organisations create career processes that assumes that everyone is the same. Your secret sauce needs to differentiate to allow people to flex within the system. And then finally, recognition. Now, recognition is not just about saying well done or good job. It is partly about that, but it's important to research what is important to people. When I say we make work more human, it's about understanding what drives them and what's important to them. We did a significant amount of research at RCC. We interviewed people who worked here, who had left, and who wanted to join us and had applied for jobs to understand what was it that was special about RCC. It boiled down to one word: connection. That's what made RCC special. The challenge we had is the connection came from being a family business, and the Crookes family are so intricately involved in the business, and certainly when it was smaller, had deep personal relationships with each and every person. 6,000 people on our sites every day. It's near on impossible for one or two people to create that degree of connection. So we needed to think about how we create connection and harness the differentiation of our organisation, knowing that connection was important. So a reward and recognition program was put in place or evolved to ensure it hit the mark. We brought people together in new office spaces to create connection. We had more than 20 face-to-face events with family days, Christmas parties, Are You OK, promotion lunches, the list is long. We would bring forums, roles together for forums and conferences. We spent time talking culture with projects, and we upped the ante on our comms in terms of letting people know how we were travelling. This is how we've structured our reward and recognition program, from a simple thank you, hats off, all the way up to the MD Choice Awards. We did this because engagement surveys told us that recognition was something that we were not so good at. We move so fast that we don't stop to recognise what we've done or reflect on the learnings enough. So we thought about making memories and creating moments that matter. A voucher in an envelope is nice, but in 3 years' time, you'll remember eating at that restaurant, but you won't remember how you got there, or who you were with, or why you were there. So for those that create an impact on our culture, we call them our impact makers, and we give them a memory that money can't buy. A memory that, yes, you could go and do those things off your own bat, but when you do it with the people you work with, you do it with the people that you enjoy spending time with, and you do it with the people that have equally as thanked as equally as much as those you work with. It's a moment in time, a memory that counts, and it costs us no more than what it did when we simply put a voucher in an envelope. That said, there is nothing more important than a simple thank you, and leaders taking the time to say thank you. And I would like to just share that perspective from some of our people.
we didn't have anywhere to stay. It used to be a hotel.
Cool.
So what have they told you about this?
So I've just got to say a few things about Cindy. Her 10 years.
It's a little bit of a spiel for one of our construction managers, Pete Fulton. I've probably worked with him for like one real job, half a real job, but I'll get it. We'll make something up. You're going to have to chat GPT me.
So the good news is you're not actually here for an interview. We lied about why you're coming in.
Yeah.
We might not have told you the full truth as to what we did.
Right.
All we want you to do, super simple, is take this phone and press play and listen.
What's this about?
Morning, Sondra. Sharpie here. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you for all that you do and all that you bring to Richard Crookes.
I just wanted to send you this message, mate, to say it's been a pleasure seeing you grow your career over the last 8 years. You have been on some tough jobs during this time, and your current one is no different. I love the way you have positively applied yourself and stepped up to every challenge thrown your way.
The way you show up every day with such a smile on your face and so much energy brings so much joy to everyone that works with you.
I just wanted to say a big thank you. You are appreciated. We genuinely care about the person that you are. You always have a lovely, warm smile on your face.
I know it's been a difficult project for all involved, but it's a credit to you for sticking it out. And really, the reality is jobs such as these just do not get built without people like yourself.
We greatly, greatly appreciate your commitment and your long service and your enthusiasm and your bluntness, definitely your bluntness, that you bring to the role every day. Thank you.
A massive impact. It's always nice to know you're doing well, and it's always nice to hear you're doing well.
It makes turning up to work enjoyable. Like you know that there's someone's seeing what you're doing and the effort you're putting in.
Yeah, just to be so much appreciated and stuff, and that's why I love coming to work.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive, and it's nice to actually feel appreciated. If you get kind words spoken about you like that, your day's easy. Everything becomes a lot easier. The whole process becomes easy, and you want to go to work.
You don't stay with a place for 35 years unless you like coming to work.
Grateful, to be honest. It's good to know that people notice it.
Emotional. Far out.
Embarrassed.
I think reassuring comes to mind. Definitely, it's like I said, it's always nice to know you're doing well.
Amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing, really.
So I mentioned that we've done a whole lot of work with leaders to help them understand the moments that matter. And no matter how much we talk to them about how important a simple thank you was, it wasn't getting cut through. So rather than giving up, we decided to show them what a simple thank you can do. I talk a lot at home and at work about kindness and gratitude. And it's so critically important. And I really hope that you saw the importance of that through that video. Kindness and gratitude, so critical to build connection with your people. So all of that, what are the outcomes? What have we achieved? We've got the highest engagement that we've achieved for many, many years, 90%. The industry average is 76%. 93% of our people are proud to work at RCC. Our attrition is the lowest since 2020. I will say that is actually now at 13%, not 16%, which is so pleasing. Career pathways are clearly defined. People see a bright future within our organisation, and they're having a much better leadership experience, up 10 points. We've proudly been accredited as a great place to work. I'm so excited to share that we're number 5 in the Inspiring Workplaces, and we were also called out as for excellence in the culture and purpose category of Inspiring Workplaces. It's been a fun journey. We are not at our destination, and you know what? We'll never be at our destination because this work is ongoing and it's important, and I couldn't do it without the people I work with, my amazing team. Thank you to each and every one of you. You make my Sunday nights special every week. Thank you.